My sister dragged my laptop into the Thanksgiving dining room like she was about to expose me. Instead, my screen exposed $12.4 million. 20 relatives froze mid-bite. The room went so quiet I could hear the old wall clock ticking. Rachel stood there smiling, holding my computer like a trophy. My mother laughed once, then her face hardened. "You have millions," she snapped, loud enough for everyone to hear. "And you let us struggle?" My father didn't ask how I earned it. He demanded what I was going to do for family. Rachel's eyes filled with tears as she started listing her student loans, her plans, her future. Then she said it, like it was obvious. She deserved my money more than I did. And that's when I realized something sickening. They weren't stunned that I'd built a life. They were furious I hadn't built it for her. Before we begin, I need your help. Subscribing is one of the best ways to support this channel. It's quick, free, and it helps us keep these stories coming. Quick note before we continue. This is a fictional story created for entertainment and reflection. Any resemblance to real people or events is purely coincidental. Everything in my house felt normal until I was 8. Before that, I was an only child. My parents weren't warm, but they were present. Mom helped with homework. Dad took me fishing at a local lake. We weren't close, but we were a family. Then Aunt Kelly showed up at 2 in the morning. She whispered, "Pack a bag." She said my mom was in the hospital. She said my sister was coming early, 2 months early. After that, the house changed shape. Rachel came home tiny. Tubes, wires, rules. I wasn't allowed too close. I wasn't allowed to touch. And without anyone saying it out loud, an invisible wall formed. Our home turned into a sterilized bubble. Hand sanitizer stations, constant wiping, industrial-level cleaning. The smell of bleach became the smell of love in my house. Sharp, cold, everywhere. And then came the part that trained my brain the wrong way. Whenever I showed even one sign of being sick, I was sent away. One sneeze, Grandma Marie's house. A mild cough, Aunt Kelly's. At first, I thought it was fun. Grandma baked cookies. Aunt Kelly had a whole shelf of Nancy Drew books. But kids aren't stupid. After a while, you realize you're not being sent on adventures. You're being removed, handled like a problem, like a risk, like your presence could contaminate the person who mattered more. I tried to earn my spot back. Straight A's, science fair prizes, anything. Mom barely looked up from Rachel's appointment calendar. Dad acted like my achievements were clutter. Once I won a big school award and he asked if I could store the display board in the garage because Rachel was allergic to cardboard dust. The real gut punch came when I was 12. I practiced for months for the school talent show. I taught myself a song on the piano alone in my room because I wanted one night where someone clapped for me. That night, Rachel had a slight fever. Guess who had no one in the audience? 2 weeks later, the whole family showed up for Rachel's short recital, like it was a national event. And by then, Rachel had learned the system. A headache meant attention. Feeling tired meant everyone rearranged their lives, and I became the easy one. Sarah's independent. Sarah understands. Sarah doesn't need much. I was a child. I didn't understand. I just learned that being low maintenance made you invisible. The only place I felt real was Grandma Marie's. She asked about my day. She listened like I mattered. She showed me her vintage jewelry and let me organize it piece by piece. I didn't know it then, but that was the first time I felt chosen. By high school, I stopped trying to be noticed, not because it didn't hurt, because it didn't change anything. If Rachel needed attention, the whole house moved. If I needed anything, I learned to handle it alone. So I built a system, color-coded notes, deadlines, folders. Rachel mocked me for it. My parents laughed like it was a cute flaw, but that system became my way out. I joined clubs that didn't cost money. I worked part-time at a diner. The owner, Carol, remembered my birthday once. My own parents didn't. I found my voice in debate. It taught me something my family never did. You can be calm, clear, and still win. Then I scored perfectly on a major test. I ran home thinking, maybe this will finally matter. My mom barely looked up. "That's nice," she said. "Keep it down. Rachel's studying." Rachel smirked. "Some of us actually have to try," she said. That's when I understood. Achievement didn't earn love in my house. It only created inconvenience. So I applied to college quietly. I wrote my own essays. I gathered my own recommendations. I handled the financial paperwork myself. My guidance counselor, Mr. Chen, stayed after school to help. He treated me like I wasn't too much. When the scholarship offer came, I didn't celebrate at home. I cried in a library window seat, shaking with relief. When I told my parents I was leaving, my mom's first response was, "What if Rachel needs you?" My dad's was colder. "Don't expect help," he said. "Your sister's expenses come first." Move-in day came. My parents didn't show up. Aunt Kelly drove me instead and hugged me in the parking lot. Before she left, she handed me an envelope. "Grandma wanted you to have this," she said. "She's proud of you." College was exhausting, but it was mine. After graduation, I took an entry-level job at an estate and auction business. It was paperwork, dust, and long hours. One day, I was sorting jewelry everyone had labeled costume, and one piece felt wrong. The weight was wrong. The clasp was too precise. The craftsmanship wasn't pretending. I researched through lunch, then stayed late, digging through authentication references. I didn't go to my boss with a hunch. I went with proof. Photos, comparisons, maker marks, history, an argument I could defend. Mr. Harrison finally looked up and asked, "Where did you learn this?" That piece sold for a staggering amount. After that, I became the person who caught what others missed. I took courses at night. I paid for training I could barely afford. I kept a notebook of steps like it was sacred. 2 years in, I spotted another misidentified item. Bigger, rarer, the kind that changes a career. When it sold, Harrison said something I didn't expect. "You should be doing this for yourself," he told me. I said no at first. Starting a business takes money, and I didn't come from money. But the idea stayed, so I did it scared. I emptied my savings. I borrowed what I could. I rented a cramped space above a restaurant. It smelled like food. The internet only worked in one corner, but it was mine. The first months were brutal. I woke up at 4 a.m. doing math in my head. Bills, rent, equipment, time. Then a collector paid a commission so large I stared at the number like it was a typo. That was the moment my life split in two. By day, I was building a real business. By Sunday night, I was still Sarah who plays with old jewelry. My family stayed uninterested. At dinners, my mom introduced me like I had a little hobby. Rachel joked about my fake career. My dad suggested I get a real job. They didn't know what I made. They didn't know I had started helping quietly, automatically, every single month. At first, it was to keep the house safe. Then it became easier than arguing. And the more I helped, the more Rachel spent like the world owed her. My parents believed she was thriving. They believed I was struggling, and I let them believe it, because I was tired of explaining my life to people who only listened when they wanted something from me. 2 weeks before Thanksgiving, my mom called me crying. Her back was out. She said cooking for 20 people felt impossible, and I was tired of watching everyone perform family while I stayed invisible. So I said, "I'll handle the food this year. I'll have it catered." My mom whispered, "We can't afford that." "I've been saving," I told her. She asked, almost accusing, "You're not taking out a loan, are you?" I didn't correct her. I let her keep believing I was scraping by. Thanksgiving morning, I arrived early. Same house, same table, same seating, same familiar feeling of being tolerated. The catering showed up on time. Trays of real food, warm bread, the kind of meal that makes you wonder why anyone settles for dry turkey. Everyone praised my mom anyway. Rachel still tried to cut me down. "Store-bought stuffing," she said loud. "Mom's is so much better." Then she tasted it and went quiet. After dinner, I stepped away with my laptop. I was tracking an online auction for a client. If they won, I had to respond fast. I went to my old bedroom. My mom kept it like a museum, my life frozen in place. Rachel's room had been remodeled more times than I could count. I opened my laptop. Tabs were still up. Accounts, contracts, numbers. The door swung open behind me. No knock, no warning. Rachel. I need a charger, she said, already inside. Her eyes landed on my screen, and I saw the shift, not concern, not curiosity. Opportunity. Before I could close anything, she grabbed my laptop. Rachel, stop, I said, standing fast. She walked out like it belonged to her, and I followed. Heartbeat steady, face still. She marched into the dining room. 20 relatives were half drunk on wine and comfort. Rachel lifted my laptop like a trophy. Time to see what Sarah's really doing, she announced, since she's always disappearing. She flipped the screen toward the table. She expected small numbers, a small life. Instead, my screen showed the truth. An account balance, a pending contract, a profit report, and the number that stopped the room cold. Over 12 million. The silence wasn't polite. It was frozen. I could hear the old clock ticking in the hallway. Rachel's face went pale. This can't be real, she whispered. My mom laughed once. Don't be ridiculous, she said. Sarah works at that little place. I didn't raise my voice. It's real, I said. I own a jewelry authentication company. We work with high-end collections. We have offices in multiple cities. My father coughed like the air hit wrong. Then my mom stood up so hard her chair scraped. And the first thing out of her mouth wasn't pride. It was rage. You have millions, she shouted, and you let us struggle. I blinked. I send you $7,000 every month. She didn't even process it. Rachel started crying, loud, dramatic. My student loans, she sobbed. My future. Then she said the line that made my stomach drop. I deserve it more, she said. I need it. My father pointed at me like I was on trial. How could you be so selfish, he demanded. We raised you. That's when the years lined up in my mind. Every time I got sent away for sneezing, every award they missed, every Sunday dinner where Rachel got the spotlight. They weren't shocked that I succeeded. They were furious I hadn't handed it to her. I closed my laptop. I picked up my bag. And as I walked out, I heard my mother behind me already planning, so we can pay for Rachel's MBA and finally upgrade the car. I didn't argue. I didn't plead. I just left. I didn't make it 10 minutes down the road before my phone lit up. Missed calls, texts stacking on top of each other, voicemails I didn't open. My mom's messages followed a pattern. First, anger. How dare you walk out on family? Then, negotiation. We need to talk like adults. Then, entitlement. Your sister deserves a share of your success. And finally, planning. I've already looked at houses in better neighborhoods. Rachel went public. She posted a long rant online about hidden family wealth and a selfish sister who watched everyone struggle. People I hadn't spoken to in years suddenly had opinions. Distant relatives, old classmates, friends of friends. It didn't feel like concern. It felt like a swarm. Then came the flying monkeys. Aunt Susan called to remind me that family is everything. Uncle Bob emailed a lecture about doing the right thing. Somebody's cousin's wife somehow got my number. All of them spoke like they knew my childhood, like they understood my life. None of them asked what actually happened at that table. Monday morning, it got worse. I walked into my office and saw them. My mom, my dad, Rachel. They were sitting in my reception area like they belonged there. Rachel was clutching her purse like a prop. My mother wore her reasonable smile. My father looked like he was already disappointed in me. Jenny, my receptionist, stood frozen behind the desk. Mom stood up first. We've discussed it as a family, she said, as if I hadn't been the topic instead of a person. And we think it's only fair you set up trust funds. Rachel didn't even ease into it. I need at least $2 million, she said, to start my new life properly. My dad added, calm and firm, your mother and I deserve to retire. A beach house. Something peaceful. I stared at them. You're asking this, I said slowly, after I've been sending you $7,000 every month? Rachel shrugged like that number was pocket change. That's nothing compared to what you have, she said. You owe us. The word owe landed like a slap. I didn't yell. I took out my phone right there in the lobby and canceled the monthly transfers. My mom gasped like I'd done something violent. Rachel started crying, then stopped when she realized it wasn't working. They refused to leave, so I called building security. Watching my own mother get escorted out while shouting about ungrateful children didn't feel satisfying. It felt final. I had their names placed on a do not admit list, and for the first time in my life, I stopped managing their chaos for them. The harassment didn't stop right away. It just changed shape. New numbers, new email addresses, messages sent through my company's contact form, like they were customers with urgent requests. At first, I tried to ignore it. Then I realized that silence only works when the other side respects it. Mine didn't. So I did the one thing my family never expected from me. I made it formal. My lawyer sent a clear notice. Stop contacting me. Stop showing up. Stop recruiting other people, or it becomes a legal problem, not a family argument. That's when my mother tried her final move. She called Grandma Marie. She thought Grandma would pressure me to make peace. She thought Grandma would shame me into reopening the door. Grandma didn't. Grandma said, "Good for Sarah. About time someone in this family succeeded on her own terms. 6 months have passed since Thanksgiving. I moved, better security, new numbers, no surprise visits. And the strangest part is how quiet life becomes when you stop funding the noise. My company is doing better than ever, because I can finally focus without bracing for the next attack. Rachel still posts vague, angry updates about toxic wealth and family betrayal. My parents tell people they never wanted my money anyway. They say they're praying for my salvation. They don't miss me. They miss access. For the first time in my life, I feel light. No more Sunday dinners filled with small insults. No more shrinking my life so Rachel can feel bigger. No more pretending I'm the problem just to keep everyone comfortable. My therapist calls it boundaries. I call it finally living in the truth. Thank you for watching. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do so and hit the notification bell to stay updated with more stories.